Don't drink and drive. I mean, this hasn't even got a steering wheel, so it's getting interesting though. I've built myself a fort. What have we found so far? Well, I found that the centre console, which is currently on the roof, has its own harness, which I'm missing. How have I found that? Well, dismantle the fort. How cool is that? If you look on the back of it, apart from that, it's all tiny little plugs. Also, there's some factory artwork. There you go, back up there. And then we go into the manual. And the wiring diagrams in the back, some of the smaller ones, is Tuscan centre console harness. I'm just wondering if it gives us a part number. M1435. And then that's got, window switches. Oh, that's actually got a cigarette lighter on it as well. Heater? Oh yeah. Window switches, heater, cigarette lighter. I'm not really sure why I'm looking at them new. I just thought it'd be interesting to see whether you can still get them. Wiring harness nose. Not very expensive, but they're out of stock. The little heater control switch up there is £180. Lambda sensors is something we need to work out because I'm not paying 180 quid for a lambda sensor. Heater control unit, I don't know whether I have that or not. We need to find where that's meant to be. I'm on MotorClan's website, by the way. I find their website the best. Race day and stuff are fantastic, but the website is not easy to navigate. On a phone, anyway. This must be really engaging content. One of the many uses of a modern phone is a mirror. I've literally just turned the camera back on.
I have impeccable timing.
How can I be of assistance? Just how rude. Oh. Haha. Victory. Now, what I have said to myself is I'm only plugging them in if they're not broken. And I'm just basically looking for, make sure the cables are attached and we just want no corrosion in there. So that looks like that attaches like that. Ooh. Oh, that sounds good, doesn't it? I wonder when the last time they were plugged in. Oh God. Which ones have they selected? It doesn't match. Ah! Very well made. As you can see, that one sticks out, but it's because the plastic's cut. And that one goes on there because it's got a little clip on it. There we go. I don't know. And then that will slide back. So we've got a ground to plug in somewhere. I should add now, classically, TVRs, not the most reliably not the most reliable as far as electric is concerned, which is just, it's made difficult when you haven't got a body that you can ground. So on your normal car, steel conducts electricity. I know, mad concept. So when you make a car out of it, you can make all the body ground. That's why when you install a radio, instead of doing it properly, you can just like smash a soft tapper into a dash support and get a really bad ground, which is great. Now, you can't do that with a glass fibre car. You need to run an earth to everything, unless you've got like there's a bloody great roll hoop in there, I think. Yeah. Who's the one in there? Anyway, unless you've got a bit of steel that you've already run a ground from the battery to, you need to run a ground to everything. Which is why there's lots and lots of grounds. Though saying that, on the modern car, well, before everything became canvas, they switched the ground a lot of the time. So, you know, used to run a lot of cars or ground run all over the place anyway. Self-cancelling works. Now, so we just have to make sure we're doing a good job of all the grounds. I'm not aware of any particular modifications with these cars to add grounds, so yeah. Right. Hello. You ever wonder how a ignition switch works? No, I didn't either. But good news, now you do. Yeah. See the little ball bearing in there? Well, it's that. Then this little sort of quadrant, that's got the key in it. That drops over that. I'm not going to turn it up and pull the thing out. Then there's a little spring that I definitely didn't lose. Then there's this, which is most definitely a thing. And the raised sections of that contact on there, and then that's your different key switch positions, I think. Right. Right. This is in the manual, by the way. It's the, I believe it's called the TVR position. No, don't flash. Please. Hello again. We got her on. It was tight, all the grub screws are back in, but it had a bit of slop. Now the old one had some bits cut off of it with a hacksaw, which was probably standard. So I've done a very TVR fix. We just put a blob of chemical metal on the bottom just to take that play out of it. I don't know if that's what TVR did, but it seems like a sort of TVR style thing to do, doesn't it? It's only a blob, you just probably crack it off with a little hammer. Now, wiring. We did those little ECUs last time. I have actually found an issue on, I think, the wing mirror. Yeah, the mirror ECU. Sorry, I've got a bit of, I'm worth it, bit of L'Oreal out of that going on today. A cable falling out. Now these are some funny, they're an older Molex connector, I think. Thank you, John. And they use a round pin. Now de-pinning these multi-connectors is usually a pain, but for these, if you look at the actual de-pinning kits, all they are bootlace ferrules on a stick. And they work perfectly. You just use a grey bootlace ferrule, push it over the front of that, and it'll push those two locking tangs in. And then out we come. But I haven't got any of these, so I'm just going to try and open up that, and then we can recrimp the cable and put it back in. That's what I use. So if you just get bootlace ferrule and a terminal screwdriver, push that over this, that then squashes those tangs. I'm not going to do it again because I don't want to break it. that squashes the tangs. Push that through, and it'll pop out the connector. Now I guarantee that popped out because that's been a bad crimp since day one. It's just never been played with. So to open these out, I'll just push a pick back into them. It usually works, he says. And they do use a different crimper, so this is an actual wiring plug crimper. Just the shape of the little mandrels is different to a standard spade terminal crimper. I've also redone those. I know they're the horrible colourful ones, but they're good, they're insulated, they're fine. They just look like a bit Toy Town, don't they? Right. This doesn't make for good TV, but if it's any consolation, I can't see anything either. Because my stupid torch has run out of battery. Hope everyone's faring okay in the storm. I'm filming this during Storm Dara O'Brien. I didn't think he was so pissed off about it the weekending, but obviously he was. Consult the wiring diagram. God knows what I look like at the moment. It hasn't got a front-facing camera. I'm just laughing at what a prat I am. So this was for the... Shut that up. That, by the way, great little kit off Amazon. I'm a bit on the shelf with bootlace ferrules for wiring generally, but if you're trying to put a small cable to a big cable, especially if you're using 0.75 or something for anything, then yeah, they're a necessity really. Mirror ECU, we are looking for a black red next to, there's two black reds, but I think it's that one. Light green, slate yellow, black red. We went through how wiring diagrams work before. Pin number 23. What I didn't say is all the actual Molex connectors are numbered. I've seen that before. So we now know pin 23 is a black red, and that is pin 23. For all the obvious thing of who TVR electrics, finding this very easy. It's better than a 1970s Rolls Royce. And there we go. So now we can wipe the tea off of this mirror ECU. Oh! I think tea is actually good for this, isn't it? I imagine it was a staple within the factory. I must look so professional now. There's loads of tea on it. I've never done that. We're just basically going through the other bits of loom that we have. So we go, the big thing in front of us is the engine loom. Which is in really good nick. So we're going to nip through it, just clean all the skunk off of it and sort of detritus that collects on things like this. Check all the cables, insulation. All I'm really doing is making sure that they're not all full of corrosion. Then I might... What I'll probably do after that is just go through and sort of pin them out with a continuity meter, so test from there to sort of point of use, as it were. These wipes are crap at most things, but stuff like this, where you don't want to get everything soaking bloody wet, they are good. Just don't ever expect them to get like ingrained dirt out unless it's just off your hands. Yeah, good for your hands and not very good for much else, but so far all looks pretty good. Can use a drill for this sort of stuff. Or, alright, I quite like a little wire brush and a bit of Scotch Brite. Now obviously I don't know the condition of the actual car loom, but apart from the sort of points of use, chances are it's not too bad because it's all protected inside the car. The engine loom though gets quite a lot of abuse. You can imagine it lives in a dangerous, dangerous world. A little bit of attention now while it's on the bench hopefully will save us pain later. If I had the whole car loom on the bench still, I would probably do the same thing with the whole thing, but I don't, and I'm certainly not going to put it out the car to do this. As I say, the actual risk of that damage is quite low. Now the other issue, again, I've been watching Tuscan Tales because he's stripped a car on camera, which is just, just an absolute legend for doing that. But my car's not the same. And I think his is an early one, so I don't know why. Probably because TVR. So on his, and I guess on others, this, the 100 amp fuse, is in the passenger footwell through a hole. I haven't got that hole. This cable must be the cable that comes off the fuse board, because down that end it's got 3 big spade connectors, but this is very short. But what I think it might be is I have an extra hole in the bulkhead here, which drops down to where the starter should be. Sorry, the light's on charge. So I've got an extra hole there, and that would line up with the starter. And then we've got another longer battery lead, and I reckon that goes underneath and then round to the battery, which sits in there. Because that obviously gives us a positive, so battery out to starter, starter connection to fuse box, car has power. It's just then where 100 amp fuses must live somewhere stupid then, because they do go. And is the footwell a better place for it? You just don't want it to get corroded. Also found out I need a heater ECU because that's missing. That sits over there. But we've made some progress, haven't we? I've got all the new alarm stuff that I will go through, but I don't want to put all that in until I'm ready for it. I also need to find a console loom, because I don't really want to make a loom for it. Yeah, again, we're stuck on bloody parts. I can't put the dash together until I've worked out where all that mains lead goes anyway. Okay. Right. We'll leave that one there, because I don't know what I'm doing now. See you soon.